Hi, it's Chris Wesley here with another video about life coaching. Apologies for my voice on this occasion. I'm recovering from a cold, or man flu as we like to call it. But it's good enough, I think, to do this series, and I've been itching to get them done, so off we go. This series is called Real Life Coaching in Action, and it's driven by the fact that many people, when I tell them what I do for a living, they are fascinated and they try to understand. They want to know what actually goes on in a coaching session. So I thought, well, why don't I record some and show you? So that's really what this session is for. A little note on confidentiality. Normally, of course, what goes on in a coaching session is confidential. It's private. But on this occasion, although you will hear some real coaching sessions in action, everyone involved has given their consent for me to publish the recordings. Now, of paramount importance in coaching is to build rapport with the client. And when I tell people that most life coaching is done by the telephone, they're astonished. They wonder how on earth you can pour out your innermost feelings and life concerns to someone you've never met before over the telephone. But in fact it works very well, and one of the reasons for that is that coaches are trained in building rapport with people through the spoken word. And almost without exception, your coach will try very hard to ensure that the sessions are relaxed and friendly. The client needs to be in a creative frame of mind, and they should have a fun experience. That's really important, and so we get that kind of dynamic going really quickly. And the last thing to note, and this is a concern for some people, they're worried what the client's going to ask them and that they might be pushed into areas they don't want to go. That doesn't happen. The client is the boss. You're paying, and you are my manager, as it were. So if there are areas you don't want to go into or things you don't want to talk about, that's fine. But by and large, it doesn't become an issue, and the coach is free to do whatever they can to build excellent rapport and facilitate progress for the client. So let's have a little listen to what happens at the start of a session and see the kind of rapport I've been able to build with Lucy. How are you doing, Lucy?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm absolutely fine. What's the weather doing in your neck of the woods?
Grim. Absolutely grim.
Oh, it's wonderful here. We had lots of rain yesterday, but it's the sun's popped out and it's delightful.
Oh. That's not fair. We were promised that, but it's still as horrible as yesterday. So.
The rotters. Whereabouts are you?
Down in Kent, in Barming.
Oh, well, you're normally in with the good stuff, I should imagine.
Yeah, quite often we are, but not always.
All right, then let's get started. So there you go. It's not rocket science, but I hope you can see how it's a beginning of a relaxed and friendly session, and that tone is kept throughout the working relationship. Now, before I met with Lucy on the phone in our first session, I sent her some exercises, and one of those exercises is something called the Wheel of Life, which is a really useful exercise that you might like to do for yourself. I'll describe how it's used momentarily, so you'll be able to do it yourself if you like. It's based around the notion that your life is at the centre of a wheel, and organised around the spokes of the wheel are different facets of human existence, like family life, significant other, finances, working life, and so on. These all interact with each other. There's an obvious link between work and finances, for example, because you generally earn a salary at work, and the size of the salary determines the size of the finances. But there are other links. If work is stressful, you may have a bent work-life balance, so your social life may suffer. If you're really stressed at work, it may also impact your relationship with your partner and your family, and so on. So here's how the exercise works. You write down each heading, finance, for example, and then you write down what you like about that area of your life and what you'd like to change about that area of your life. And then when you've done those two, you award a score out of 10 for that area, where 0 is it's grim and 10 is it's as good as it can get. And you do that for all of the areas, and then you return that exercise to me, and I will study that before our first session so that when we do meet for the first time, I'll know a lot more about you. And the objective, or at least one of the main objectives of the first session, is to choose one area from the Wheel of Life that we ought to work on. And it's not simply the one with the lowest score, because as we said earlier on, they impact each other in complex ways. So we would choose the area which, if we fixed it, would propagate the largest positive influence on the whole life. So that's the objective of or the main objective of the first coaching session. And if we go back to my session with Lucy now, we can see how that works in practice. What area is it that you'd like to work on, Lucy? And if you don't know, that's okay.
I must admit I don't actually. It's probably the work situation that bothers me most, but I don't really mind what it covers.
Right, and work has an impact on finance, which is another one of the ones that you scored low.
Yes.
So it would hit two things there, so that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
And in fact, those are the two lowest scorers. So let's tackle work and see what pops up. So we've selected work as being the area of Lucy's life that we're going to work on in the rest of the coaching relationship. In fact, we had a much longer conversation about the various other candidates in the real coaching call, but I need to keep these videos short, so I've eliminated that from this presentation. And I also need to stop now to keep the videos under 10 minutes, but keep your eye out for part 2, which is going to be available shortly.